Lucy Connolly, the wife of former West Northamptonshire Conservative councillor Raymond Connolly, has failed in her bid to overturn a 31-month prison sentence for inciting racial hatred through a social media post made during the aftermath of the Southport knife attacks. The Court of Appeal, presided over by Lord Justice Holroyd, alongside Mr Justice Goss and Mr Justice Sheldon, delivered a decisive ruling on Tuesday, stating there was no arguable basis to suggest her original sentence was excessive. The judgment emphasised that her application for leave to appeal had been thoroughly considered and ultimately refused. The case stems from a post Connolly published on X on July 29, 2024, the same day 3 young girls, Elsie Stankham, Bebe King, and Alice da Silva Aguiar, were fatally stabbed at a Taylor Swift-themed dance class in Southport. In her since-deleted post, viewed over 310,000 times before its removal, Connolly demanded mass deportation now and suggested that hotels housing asylum seekers should be burned down, adding, "If that makes me racist, so be it." Her remarks contributed to a wave of online misinformation, falsely linking the attack to a Muslim asylum seeker, which subsequently fueled riots in several UK towns. At Birmingham Crown Court last October, Connolly pleaded guilty to inciting racial hatred and received a 31-month sentence, with a requirement to serve 40% of the term before being eligible for release on licence. During her appeal hearing last week, Connolly appeared via video link from prison and expressed remorse, stating she had been really angry and distressed by the children's deaths. She also cited the tragic loss of her own son 14 years earlier, explaining how the Southport murders had triggered a resurgence of grief and anxiety. "Those parents still have to live a life of grief," she told the court. "It sends me into a state of anxiety, and I worry about my children." However, the appellate judges rejected her argument that she had not fully understood the implications of her guilty plea, particularly regarding intent to incite violence. When pressed on whether she genuinely wanted someone to act on her inflammatory words, Connolly insisted, "Absolutely not." Lord Justice Holroyd's ruling dismissed her appeal as being based on a version of events the court found unconvincing. Following the decision, Raymond Connolly, who lost his council seat in May, condemned the outcome as shocking and unfair, maintaining that his wife was being unfairly punished for an emotional outburst rather than malicious intent. "Lucy is a good person and not a racist," he said in a statement, pointing to her past work as a childminder caring for children of diverse backgrounds. He criticised the sentence as disproportionate, claiming she had received harsher punishment for a single deleted post than some offenders convicted of domestic abuse or child sexual offences. The system wanted to make an example of her, he argued, suggesting the ruling was intended to suppress criticism of immigration policies. This is not the British way. Connolly also took issue with Prime Minister Keir Starmer's description of his wife as a far-right thug, insisting her post was a momentary lapse in judgment driven by distress rather than ideology. He highlighted the personal toll of her imprisonment, particularly on their 12-year-old daughter, after 284 days of separation. Despite her apology for acting on false and malicious information, the court's refusal to reduce her sentence underscores the legal consequences of hate speech, even when framed as an emotional reaction to tragedy. Axel Rudakubana, the 18-year-old perpetrator of the Southport attack, is currently serving a life sentence with a minimum term of 52 years after pleading guilty to the triple murder.